next question was about volume day weights. This could be in reference to any program that has like a dedicated, volume squat session or volume bench or whatever the lift is. But on a day where you're prescribed to do a specific volume, say 5 sets of 5 or whatever it is, but anything on the higher end of the volume scale for a given weight, if you come in that day and you're not able to hit, let's say you're scheduled to do 5 sets of 5 on a given lift with 350 pounds, and you're not able to do, you're just whatever, you're off that day, you're not at peak strength, and you're not able to hit your target set and rep goals with that weight. Is it better to just stay with the weight that you intended to do? So say, again, you were scheduled to do 5 sets of 5 at 350. Should you stay with 350 and just do what you can? So maybe that's 5 sets of 3 or 4 sets of 4 or something like that. Or should you go down in weight and try to get your prescribed volume? You have to look at that training day in the context of the rest of the program. Typically with the volume day, the main goal of that day is the volume and not the weight. So especially if there is a higher intensity day later in the week, then you probably are going to want to err on the side of lowering the weight and keeping the volume up, because again, the spirit of the program, and I tell my guys a lot this in my online club, is look at the spirit of the program. Look at what is the objective of the day. If the objective of today is to get in a high volume of squatting, then you need to get in a high volume of squatting. Ideally, you're going to be able to do that with whatever your scheduled weight is, 350, but if for some reason you can't get that, then lower the weight down a little bit, maybe just taking it down to even 335 or something like that, and you'll be able to get in your prescribed sets and reps. So if you're doing a volume day, I would say get the volume in first and don't burn yourself out doing a bunch of heavy triples across, because then you're crossing over to more of an intensity workout, and you're going to have another one of those later in the day. So if you're off a little bit, get your volume in, lower the weight. You want to use volume as a day also to practice your form and your technique. You don't want to have a bunch of form breakdown if you're grinding out a bunch of real shitty reps. That's not really the point of the volume day. So lower the weight down, get the work in. You'll find that your average workload is going to be higher if you keep the volume up. So, if you're getting that, good solid 25, 30 reps in, with that weight, your average tonnage or your workload is going to be higher with more volume and a little bit less weight than if you keep the weight the same but drop the reps way down to accommodate kind of having a bad day. So keep the volume up, and then later in the week, if you've got that intensity day a few days later, then you can kind of hopefully rectify that situation and go for more weight to kind of balance things out. So that's the way that I would typically treat that, is stick with the spirit of the program. Same thing with an intensity day. So if you're having an intensity day, and you're scheduled to do a heavy single on a given lift that day, or a heavy series of singles, something like that, and you're off a little bit, again, don't just say, well, I'm going to go light and do 5 sets of 5 that's the point, is to go heavy, and to train with high intensity. And that might be relative to kind of your state of readiness that day. So, if you're scheduled to get a single with 365 and you're not quite there, well, maybe you go down to 350 or 345 and you do, 3 singles across. So you raise the volume up a little bit, maybe to account for less load. But the idea is to still train some heavy singles. So again, you're kind of staying with the spirit of the program, and not just completely altering the nature of the stress that you're trying to achieve. Okay, so that's my thoughts on that. So this has been our first little Q&A installment. So we're going to upload this and then film another one here in a little bit. All right, thanks a lot, guys.